Hey guys, I'm going to be bringing you that video I talked about yesterday about the misconceptions of fat loss in the fitness industry. And the first thing I'm going to cover is probably the most important thing you need to know about fat loss. And I'm sure you've heard it. I know I've said it a bunch of times. And if you haven't heard it, that's really unfortunate. That just kind of proves my point about the fitness industry being sort of corrupt. And that first thing is going to be the deficit. The only thing you need to lose weight is a deficit, a calorie deficit. You can tune that to however you'd like. It could be 100 calories, 200 calories, 500, 1000. It could be whatever you want. As long as you're in a deficit, you'll lose fat. That's really the only thing you need to know, and just keep that in your mind, and that's how you lose weight. So you can't really, everyone else says there's these magic pills, or you do this, or you do this, you eat this, whatever, and you'll just magically lose weight, and that's just not true, and you can't fall for things like that. It's just about the deficit, and you really need to keep that in mind. And I'm going to be talking about two different ways you can do that. There's two ways you can go into a deficit. One is obviously just eating less. So if you eat 2,000 calories, 3 meals, cut one of your meals in half, now you're eating 1,500 calories or whatever. And the second way you'd lose calories or you go into a deficit is a cardio deficit. And that would be you eat your 2,000 calories still, you're eating your normal amount of food, but every day you go on a jog. And let's say, for example, you're 150 pounds, you run, I think it's a 10-minute mile for 45 minutes, you lose 500 calories. And if you lose 500 calories every single day for a week, you will lose 1 pound of fat per week, because it is estimated that a pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So within a week, if you can manage to lose 3,500 calories, you'll be losing a pound. And if you go over that, more than a pound, which would be great things. And you can combine these two things to make it a lot easier for yourself. You can either, because just practically starving yourself is really difficult to do. Like cutting all your meals, just portioning yourself is really hard on your mentality, but it is a lot more physically hard to go do cardio, whether it's biking, swimming, running, whatever. So you can combine the two. You can cut your cardio in half, and you can also cut your diet a little bit. So just one meal you cut down, maybe you just take out one thing you eat, or you cut all your portions in half, and then in the morning or afternoon, whatever, you go and run for a little bit. You go on a walk. You don't even have to run. You could just walk. And you'll burn calories as well as the fact that you're not eating as much. And you'll still lose the same amount of weight if you just ate the same and did a bunch of cardio, or if you ate a lot less, did no cardio. So as a trainer, I would definitely recommend you doing both of them at the same time. It's a lot easier, and cardio also keeps you really healthy. It's very easy to do. You can do it anywhere. You just walk outside, whatever. And yeah, you don't need cardio to lose weight. A lot of people say that you do. Some people say you have to do certain types of cardio. You have to go swimming for this long, run for this long, bike for this long, whatever. And that's just not true. You don't need to do that. If you don't like doing cardio, don't do cardio. I would rather see somebody hate to do cardio and they're still getting their goals done by not doing cardio, and maybe they're a little bit less healthy, than hate cardio and do a bunch of it and then eventually quit and binge and gain all the fat back that they did. I'd way rather someone be successful in their own way than follow what I'd have to say and then becoming successful that way, because they might hate it. So anything you do in fitness, little tip, don't do anything you hate. Morph your program or your cardio or your diet or whatever it is to something that you like, so you don't fail at it, and then you don't binge and you don't fall off the rails and mess up whatever you're doing and then quit. That's not what we want. Failing's okay. Quitting is not okay. But next thing I'm going to get into, this is a really, really big one, and it's certain special diets. Things like the vegan diet, vegetarian, keto, Plato or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it, Plateo, something like that. And carnivore diet. You don't need to be on some super crazy diet like that. And honestly, it probably negates the effects. It probably does not help you nearly as much as you just being on a balanced diet. So the reason they do work, I want to make sure that people understand that they do work. Obviously they do if so many people are doing them and they're working, but they're not working in the way that these people portray them. If they portrayed them correctly and people knew what they were doing and all that good stuff, they'd they'd still work just like they work anyway. But people wouldn't do them because they realize a balanced diet and a calorie deficit is better than keto diet. For example, or not for example, but I'll explain it. When you have a balanced diet, you eat your vegetables, you eat your meat, you eat your carbs, you eat whatever you gotta eat. You eat your fiber, all the macros, whatever. It's all balanced. That's why it's called a balanced diet. You can flip flop foods you want to eat. If you want to eat more carbs that day, you can eat more carbs. If you want to eat more protein, more fiber, blah, blah, blah. When you take a special diet like a vegan diet, you completely take out one of those groups, which is not only unhealthy for you, but obviously it cuts your calories down because you're eating less food. Same with keto, you cut your how much food you're able to like go and get at the store and eat by a huge margin because not a lot of foods are keto. So you're in a calorie deficit not by choice, by force because of this diet. And I just don't think that's healthy, nor do I think taking something out of your diet like that is healthy, unless it is something that is potentially harmful, something like sugar. I don't think you need to go sugar free. Would I suggest limiting sugar? Probably. But that's not really a special diet. It's just watching exactly what you eat. Like, you don't want to go eat in McDonald's every single day. That's obviously not good for you. But next misconception I'm going to be talking about is macro counting. I see so many people like on YouTube and Instagram saying they're counting their macros and they list whatever. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that at all. And honestly, I think it kind of demotivates you to do certain things. Because let's say you've been really good every single day, and then one day you're in a calorie deficit. You're doing everything right, and you're counting your macros, but that's what you're focusing on. And then you get to a day, and then you mess up, you binge, or you snack or something, and you go past your macros, or you don't meet them or whatever. Then you feel demotivated, and then you feel really shitty. You feel bad about yourself. Then you don't go work out, you don't do your cardio, you fall off the diet, and then you quit. Counting your macros leads to you quitting, potentially. But you don't need to count your macros to even be extra healthy. I think it's just a waste of time, and you can't accurately do it. So if you're gonna, the only macro I suggest counting is really protein, and I wouldn't even count it. I just kind of estimate. Like, if I had French toast in the morning, I make my French toast with eggs, obviously. 20 grams of protein. Lunch, let's say I have another 20. Second lunch, 20. You just kind of estimate whatever you get, and at the end of the day, if you didn't get as much as you normally would, which is like a 1 gram per pound of body weight or whatever, then just eat a little bit more protein the next day. So you can kind of fluctuate that, but I would never suggest counting things like your carbs, your fiber, or your fats. It doesn't make sense to me. It seems like a lot of work for no reason, and it can demotivate you. Next thing I'm going to be talking about is a really, really big one. I don't believe it's as big now as it used to be back in the day, but it's that fat loss is not site specific. That means no matter how many crunches you do, you're not going to burn fat on your stomach. Not only because it's not a cardio exercise, it's not burning a lot of calories, but also because fat doesn't work that way. When you're burning fat, it burns a percentage of it all around your body. So if you burn over a course of a year, you're able to cut down 10% body fat. It's not just 10% in a certain location, it's 10% your whole body. So maybe it's 1% in your arms, 1% in your stomach, 1% in your legs. You just spread it out. It's not you lose fat in one certain place. That's not how it works. So if most people, men especially, they have midsections, they're covered in fat all the way around, and then they don't have fat like anywhere else. If you're lean enough, obviously. But if I go do a million crunches every single day, I'm not going to burn any of that fat unless I'm in a deficit, and then I start to burn it. Doing an exercise with a certain body group isn't going to force that muscle to eat the fat that's in that specific place. So if you have fat arms and you just do bicep curls, you're not going to burn fat on your arms. It's not how it works. And that's really all I got for the misconceptions about fat loss. Those are some of the biggest ones. I hope you guys really realize what people are saying, watch videos, see what they're saying, see things that don't make sense, kind of add up and see who knows what they're talking about, who doesn't know what they're talking about, and kind of make your own opinions on it. But look out for those really, really big ones. You'll probably see them a lot after I explain them to you, and then you'll go watch other videos, and then you'll notice. But yeah, just try to stay away from false things that like that, because they'll lead you down a dark, or not dark, wrong path. They'll lead you down a wrong path, and eventually you'll do something like buy a guy's program because he's telling you all this stuff, it's not working, and then he's like, oh, buy my program and it'll work. You buy his program, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but you just bought a program when you didn't need to, when you can do everything yourself. You can learn everything you need to. But yeah, that's all I got. You know the drill. Follow the Insta, sub, like, comment, all that good stuff. And I'm making a new video. It's just like the one I posted about how to build the most muscle. It's going to be instead how to lose the most fat. I've been doing a ton of research. I've been working really hard on a script for that video. So stay tuned for that one, and I'll see you in the next one.